Hey everyone, welcome back to Ask Amy. Today is September 14th, which means that the Little School of Big Change opens in 2 weeks. I can't even believe it. 2 weeks from right now, people are going to be piling in, saying hello on our forum, diving into everything. So if you are thinking about the course, if you're interested, please let me know if you have any questions. I'll be doing some more Q&As coming up. But this is the time. If you pre-enroll, you save money, you guarantee your seat, you get some stuff right away, and there's only 2 weeks to go. So this is the time. So I can't wait to see many of you in class this fall. So today I have a question from Mark, and I also have a bad cold, so forgive me if I sound like I'm plugging my nose. Mark says, so here's my situation. I'm 64 and married. I've done a ton of work recovering from my severe childhood abuse and finding much peace in my relationships in life. But there are two massive future matters that can generate dread for me. One, I have a condition called peripheral neuropathy, a degenerative nerve condition that will over time consume my whole body, rendering me immobile, requiring the use of a catheter, etc. And two, I'm woefully unprepared for retirement financially. While I dread the various undesirable ways these will play out, a related factor is the dread of how my adult children will respond when they become aware of these things and their likely significant impact on them. They may need to take me and my wife into their homes, they may need to provide for us, etc. I've thought of all of this and considered that suicide might be almost inevitable for me. Can your ideas help what feels to me like an ever narrowing window on my life? So, Mark, um, yes, they they uh, they absolutely can, and here's why. And I'm just going to be very blunt. So this ever narrowing window on your life, right? The dread, the looking ahead and imagining, as you say, all these things that may happen. The imagining all of these things, your mind creating pictures and feelings and hypotheses and predictions and guesses and scenarios of how your children are going to deal and how you're going to deal. And as your mind does that, that window on your life just narrows and narrows, and it looks like, I don't want to go through this. What I want you to see is that everything everything about how this looks to you, how the future looks to you, is made of thought. So your mind is making it up. Now, I really want you to hear this. I really want everyone to hear this. I know you have a diagnosis. I know you're not ready for retirement financially. Fine. Those are two facts, and that's it. And we're all gonna our minds are all going to make up different things about different facts at different times. And that's always going to be moving and changing and revolving over time and evolving over time as well. So, so people could have the exact same circumstances that you have, and their minds could be making up far worse futures or far better futures, and anywhere in between. And your mind, notice how your mind can move around. Your mind will make up horrible futures. And really hear this, it's your mind making it up. So just because you have a diagnosis that says these things are likely to happen in the future, and just because you have whatever money you have or don't have right now, today, that's it. I mean, those are just statements of fact, neutral even, statements of fact in a moment right here, right now. They mean nothing in and of themselves. They tell you nothing in and of themselves about what's going to happen in the future for sure. They definitely tell you nothing about how you will feel in the future or how your children, your adult children, will feel in the future. None of that could possibly even a little bit be known. It is completely blank. You have a clear, wide open, clean, blank future just like everyone else. There's nothing in it. Nothing in it. Except that our mind makes stuff up, literally makes stuff up. It looks at the past, which is this, and in this very moment because there's nowhere else to look. So it looks at the past, it looks at this very moment, and it takes what it sees, a mind does, takes what it sees, and it projects an imaginary fictional story out of that, and it tosses it into the future, and it tells you you better not make it that long because it's not going to be pretty. It convinces you so much that that is true. It's coming for you. You're probably right about all the things you, even though I know you know I'm making this up because we all know we're making it up when it's the future, right? You wouldn't even be asking if you didn't know there was some hope or some wiggle room, some other way to see it differently. So I know you know that, Mark. But even then, it's like this is just what our mind does. Our mind gets so fixed on, yeah, but this is really likely in my case, or I just can't see it playing out any other way, which is just how a mind works. It just sees it the way it sees it. But we don't want to believe that just because you can't see it playing out another way. Just because your mind is giving this a 99% probability that it's going to play out the way your mind's imagining it doesn't mean it is. That's just how a mind works, Mark. It's just what a mind does. It wants certainty so bad that it will take look to the past, alter it a little bit, throw it into the future, and tell you that it's pretty much a given. And I cannot say enough, I cannot stress enough that it is not. It is not. There is nothing in your future. There is nothing horrible coming down the line that you need to look forward to. You are here right now, and life is unfolding moment by moment by moment. And the way that we are designed as human beings is we are common sense and resilience and resourcefulness, and we have the ability, every one of us no exceptions, to feel a bunch of the hardest stuff we can imagine and be okay. Something in us gets us through it. It's not going to be on you, Mark, to get you through it, and it's not going to be on your adult kids to get you through it. Life does that. We all have this within us, this thing people call it wisdom, home base, whatever you want to call it, your essence that lives you. It gets you through this stuff. And is it hard at times? Absolutely. But I really want you to kind of get this sense that this narrowing window on your future, as you say, is your mind creating something that is not real. It is not true and it is not real. The only thing that's true and real is what you know about right now. Everything else is made up and passed off as if it inevitable, or obviously this is what's going to happen or whatever, but it just can't be. Now think about things that you've gotten through, really really hard things that you've gotten through before, and how something got you through those that you couldn't predict. You can't even talk about it. We don't even know what it is. We don't know how to say it or how to talk about it. You didn't do it. It wasn't Mark's muscles or Mark's brains or anything like that that got you through things at certain times. I mean, they contribute, right? They might feel like they're helping out, but there's something in all of us, which is, I would say that something is who we really are. It's our spirit and our essence that moves us through things. So you mentioned that you've had a lot of childhood trauma. I mean, come on, Mark, you've made it to 64. You're married, you have children. You said you've gotten over a lot of stuff and you've had a lot of happiness and peace in your life. What did that? When you were at the hardest point of your life as a kid or coming out of some of that trauma, you could have looked ahead and said, "No, I might as well just quit now. I might as well write it off now because there's no way I'm going to get out of this." Which is kind of what your mind's doing right now. But look what happened. You moved through things. You've changed. Like, you've enjoyed life. You've had moments of, obviously, like love and closeness and connection and all of these wonderful things, even through some really tough things that you went through in the past. Why would that not be the case in the future? It's no different. It's no different. We don't do this. Our mind does this. So life works like The headlights shine as far as we can see, and we just keep following the headlights. But what we want is we want to see the path. We're 64 and we want to know my kids aren't going to have to take care of me. I'm going to have this much money. My health will be doing this. And it's impossible. And only a machine that's trying to predict everything and keep us safe, which we don't need, but it thinks we need it. Only a machine would even talk that way. Only a machine would even say, "Oh, give me the path and let me see how it's going to go." And when we can't see how it's going to go because we never can, only a machine that needs certainty so badly would make up a story that says, "Oh, this is probably how it's going to go." And I just want you to get a little feel for that, just a little sense of how everyone's mind is doing that. Everyone's mind is doing that no matter what's going on for them. People who have really easy circumstances right now, their mind is making up that that's going to continue in the future. That's just what a mind does, but it is not the way it works. And you don't have to figure this out. You don't have to see it now. You don't have to think positively about your future. You only need to know that the way it looks and the way it feels right now cannot possibly be accurate. It's a guess, it's a creation. It's a figment of your mind's imagination. That's all it is. And the more we can see that in a bigger sense, anytime we're feeling like A or B, black or white, it's either going to be this or that, or we're feeling like, oh, super limited, like I don't get what I want and things aren't available to me. This is where I'm headed. Anytime we're feeling any of that stuff, hopeless, like our options are limited, that's always showing us that our mind, this machine that just lives in what it already knows, is leading the way. Meaning our mind is coming in saying, well, I can't see a way that this is going to end really happily. And then we're believing that. But just because a computer in our heads, a machine, can't see a way that it's going to end happily doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's not going to end happily. It doesn't tell us anything about what's real and what's true. It's just the way that machine in our head talks. And unfortunately, we've been very conditioned to believe everything it says. And so we get kind of caught up in it. So just know that the more narrow that window looks, the less trustworthy it is, the less true it is, the less it's anything you need to respect or listen to. And it will get narrow. It does for all of us. And then it'll widen and it might move around. But you don't want to listen to that. Listen to the resilience in you that's gotten you through all that you've been through so far in life. That didn't go anywhere. It didn't suddenly pack up and go. It is you. It is you. And it will come and help you through anything that comes your way in the future, anytime. Anytime. So I hope this is helpful, Mark. Thank you so much for sending this question. Just know, everyone, there's nothing in the future. There's nothing there. Our mind will tell us there is, and it will say, people like me, and look at the odds, and this is where I'm headed, and all those little vague conceptual things the mind likes to say. There's nothing in a future. There is, where is it? It's not here yet. And we are full of the resilience and common sense and resourcefulness that has always walked us through step by step by step. But when we're back here looking ahead 20 years, 10 years, it's a crapshoot. We're making it up. We have to be. All right. Thank you so much for sending your question. Send your questions about anything, how a mind works, habits, anxiety, whatever you're going through, to Ask Amy at thelittleschoolofbigchange.com. And I will be back here every Monday to answer them. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.